All right, so right now you might still have HTML01 open. It's fine if you do. Let's go ahead and open HTML02 or 02. And on this page, we had our own heading, okay? And then we went in so that you could see the sizes of all the other headings. All I want you to do is I just want you to click and drag to highlight heading 1 and notice that it is doing it up here in the code. Now, down here in the properties, there's not a whole lot you can change down here other than the fact that you could change the format, which would take off the heading 1 tag. We want to leave it there. But let's say that we wanted to go in the code. We could come in here to this H1 and we could choose align. And notice as I started to type the word align, I get what's called a code hint. So based on what I start, it tries to guess what I'm putting in. So I can simply hit enter, and then once I hit enter, notice that it has 4 different options of what I want to do, what I could do. So I'm going to center that and then hit enter. And once I click back down here in my design view, that heading is now centered in the middle of my page. Now, take a couple seconds to go through and just highlight, or actually you don't have to highlight, you can just click somewhere inside of heading 2 to see it's a heading 2. You could come in and do 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, one of the things that I want to point out about headings is that when you assign a heading, it automatically basically puts a double space, meaning there's a blank line between there. It doesn't put in a code of a blank space. It's included in that design. Okay, and I just wanted you to realize that. Now, let's go ahead and open HTML03. In HTML03, you wrote a couple of sentences to make up a paragraph. Now, what I want you to do, it says this is an example of plain default text. No HTML tags are used, nor any other special formatting. So what I want you to do is I want you to put your cursor right here before the word this. And I want you to hit return on your keyboard. Notice that what this does is it ends the paragraph, puts a blank line, and then starts the new one. If you look into your code, notice you'll see a paragraph tag. Okay, and you know that that's what a paragraph tag does. Now, I also want to point out this. With a web editor, they automatically put in an opening paragraph tag and a closing paragraph tag wherever you hit enter, okay, or return, sorry. When we did it in TextEdit, we only used a single P tag. Either one works. They both work the same. This is just what Dreamweaver does. So I don't want you to be startled, okay, when it starts doing that to you. Now, if that does a P tag, then how would we go about doing the BR tag, the line break tag? Go ahead and it says this type of text is the fastest HTML text processing if the default text is sufficient for your needs. So right before the word note, go ahead and hold down the shift key and hit return. Whoops, I didn't click in the right place. Shift and return. Now you'll see that the word note goes down to the very next line. You'll see right here the BR tag, and it is still just a single tag. So the BR tag ends a line of text and it starts the next line of text directly underneath it. So I wanted you to make sure that you are aware of the difference between the two. Okay, let's go ahead and open up HTML04. Now, the actual text in this one goes over exactly what I just was showing you with the P tag and the BR tag. Okay, so I just want you to be aware that it says it here. What I would like you to do is to go ahead and highlight this first line of text. This example shows some tags. Now, one of the things that you probably have noticed so far is that none of the pages we have any sort of color to it. Okay? And if you look down at the properties panel, there is no like color picker. Nowhere on here yet do you see anything like a color picker. So what we have to do is use a font tag. Dreamweaver decided that the font tag is something that doesn't necessarily need to be used. And the reason is because nowadays all of the design stuff is done in cascading style sheets, which is something you're going to learn, but it's going to be a little bit later. So we're going to come up here, and right before the word this, we're going to start a new tag. I'm going to put in the less than symbol, and I'm going to type FO, and notice that it takes me to font. Now, I'm going to type font. Font by itself is a tag, but it's not going to do anything. We have to put in what's called an attribute. And there are several different attributes. You can see by this list of what pops up. So the first attribute that I want to use is color. So I'm going to choose that from the list and click OK, or click return. And then you'll see that what pops up here is the set of quotes and then a color picker to where you can go in and pick any web-safe color. Now, I did say previously that white background and black text is the easiest to see, but I do want you to realize that it is possible to change it. Okay? So now I'm going to use the greater than symbol to close that tag. And it just made a liar out of me. And you're going to see that instead of it changing red, there's just this little indent, okay? And that's because it's noticed an error. There's no closing font tag. So we need to come here and we need to say where we want this tag to end. And we want it to end right here. So I'm going to do a less than symbol. I'm going to hit a slash, and notice that it put in the font tag for me, or the closing font tag. So you have to be aware of that, because as you nest some tags, sometimes it may put something in that you don't want. Now, besides color, you also have the ability to change the font face. And here we have a list of several different types of fonts that Dreamweaver has picked that are what they call easy to read and common website fonts. So I'll let you choose one of them. I'm going to go ahead and choose Verdana. That's one of my favorite. And it actually gives you 3 of them. And the reason it does that is so that if one font isn't on your viewer's machine, it'll back up with the second font. And if that one's there, it backs up with the third font. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and on this same one, we're going to put in size. So I'm going to type size. And notice you have a list of sizes here. Okay, so there's some that have pluses next to them. So let's look at +6. It's quite big. Okay, that's pretty, actually that might be bigger than an H1 tag. Now, if I go back in and just put 6, oops, I didn't mean to hit enter. Let me go back real quick. Just put 6. Notice that there's a difference between +6, regular 6, and -6. So there's a wide range of font sizes you can choose from. Typically, for something that is a paragraph of text, you would use a font size of 2, or 3. And again, it depends on your target audience and it depends on your client. If you use something bigger, like 4, this winds up looking more elementary and maybe for people that have trouble reading. Go ahead and open HTML08. And on this page, you actually created what is called a numbered list or an ordered list. Notice when I highlight it, it selected everything here in the ordered list. And you can see here on the properties panel that the ordered list has been selected. Okay. Now, I also want you to notice down here. See this? Depending on what you have selected or where your cursor is, this gives you the ability to select tags up here. This makes for really easy editing, so you need to get in the habit of using your tag selectors down here. So let's say you wanted to go from making this an ordered list. You can click on it and it undoes it. And notice now that there is a blank space in between. If you look at the code, there's a paragraph space in between. I could now make it a numbered list if I want. Well, let's pretend that I actually wanted to make this a nested list. And I think there's one that y'all did already. Let me see. Yeah, hang on. Let me compare the... All right, so the last one there is attend a cheerleading camp. So I'm going to copy that. Oops, that didn't copy because I used the wrong key. There we go. Copy, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to paste. And I'm going to hit enter so it goes on a line below. Now I could highlight 2 lines and I can use right next to this. Notice that I can text indent, and so now those 2 have been nested inside that list. Those could be numbered if I wanted. I could also make the other ones numbered. Like such. Okay, so at this point you have done a lot of changes to some of these pages. You'll see up here you have a tab showing you all the different pages that you have made some changes to because they have an asterisk next to it. If you control click on any one of them, notice that you have the ability to do a save all instead of doing each one separately. Go ahead and choose save all.